Hi guys, and welcome to the Voice of AI. My name is Chris Plant. It's time now for a tutorial in Photoshop Generative AI. Okay, so let's jump straight in. Here we are at unsplash.com, and you can see that this is a really cool website where you can get your royalty-free images. You can see all the cool pictures here. If we have a quick look at About, you can see that it's photos for everybody, over 3 million free high-resolution photos, and you can see that there's a community of nearly 300,000 photographers, so it's a really great place to get going. Now, I found a picture already, and I've already loaded it up, and here it is. This is a picture by Garrett Patz, and look, there's some really cool pictures that he's done here as well. Garrett is here. He's from San Diego in California. I'm going to take this picture from Garrett's day and use it as a base for my image. You can see it's a really nice photograph, and he's captured the setting really nicely as well. I think that's probably either him or his friend in the picture there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to download this original size image, and you can see at the bottom here you've got the special shout out to Garrett on this area here. So I'm going to copy this to save it for later. Let's take the link so I can put it on my YouTube video, and I'm just going to say thanks as well there, and I'll tweet that out to him later. So I'm going to take this into Photoshop right now. So today's first task is that I want to make a really nice generative image based on this nice picture by Garrett. And I want to make sure that we've got some new colors and some different lighting as well, and make the background quite interesting. And then secondly, what I'd like to do is change the image into some sort of artistic impression, like an oil painting. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. So then you can take the pictures that you like and you'll be able to produce really nice artwork for yourself or your friends. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop already. And the first thing I'm going to do now is I like to open up the adjustments level, and I want to go to selective colors. Now I really want to get some right tones in here, so I always go to the neutrals, and what I do is I just play around with the colors here, just lower the magenta tone. I just play around with those because I want to get a really nice sort of sunset tone. You can see that looks like the morning at the moment, but to make it look much more like an evening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to up the cyan there, I'm going to up the magenta. You can see it's starting to look like a sunset, really good. I'm going to pull the yellow in a little bit more. Let's take that down actually, because I get then a more sort of sunset feel. I really like that coloring now. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, and now I'm just going to take my curves as well, and let's just play with the curves a little bit. You can do a lot with that. I'll just move it out of the way for a second, but we can just lift that right up and get a nice color. We can dim it right down as well. It looks really cool as well, but I'm just going to go for a sort of mid-tone at the moment. I think something around this looks quite nice. Let's just get that in the right place. There we go. Okay. I'm going to take that up now. So that looks pretty good as well. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to make that a bit smaller, and I want to make the canvas size large, ready for our generative fill. And what I'll do is change that from pixels to centimeters, and we're going to up that to 300 in the width and 150 in the height. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of nice white space around there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go up to the selection toolbox here and take my magic wand, and there you can see I've already selected the outer limits, and let's just go to the generative fill, and we'll just generate with nothing in there at all. Okay, so that will generate us some different backgrounds. We can have a look. We'll get 3 of those. Okay, so let's see. Right, the first one is really nice. If you look at the image, it's really, really good. But obviously what it's done is it's sectioned it into tones, but it is actually one image if you follow the line through. The second one, let's look over the second one. Okay, again, it's a new image, but also it's got the white box like a photo around, and the same on this one, also a white box. Now, I'm not sure why it always brings up the white boxes. Sometimes I want it without the fill, so let's try another generative fill and another layer to see if we can avoid getting the white box and use a different selection method this time. The selection method that I want to use on this particular instance is going to be the marquee tool. Now, what we'll do is we'll just select, we'll duplicate the background first here, and we'll get rid of that one as well, because I sometimes like to work on a main level. So we take the background away because sometimes that's uneditable in certain instances. And we'll use this one and we'll call it main. Okay, great. So now I'm going to use a different selection method this time. I'm going to use the marquee, and I'm going to select it just inside the box here, because then I know that I've got the picture, and I'm going to invert that image now. So let's just invert that. Okay. And now I'm going to generate again with a generative fill to see what sort of image we get now. Okay, great. That looks really amazing. Look how cool that looks now. Okay, so we're just going to throw away that background, and let's throw away that generative layer as well. Now we've got our main and our generative layer that we've just created. Okay, so now what I want to do is I still want a little bit of height on that picture. It looks a bit small to me. So let's just enlarge our canvas size again, and we'll just change that to centimeters again. And let's just go to, so we'll go to 200 in the height to get a bit more height. And you can see I've added top and bottom there. So now I'm just going to select the top and select the bottom. And then we're going to do again the same thing, which is the generative fill. So we'll click on that. We won't put anything in it because it's just going to then use all of the AI power to come up with the rest of the image. Look at that, perfect. Okay, so now it's time to tidy up now because there's a bit of a mess here. Can you see these two lines going down now? Now this is really easy to change. I'm just going to go onto the right generative layer. Let's have a look. We'll go onto the main. I'm going to merge these layers together now. And now what we can do is we can take the marquee tool and we can draw two marquees over the lines, and we just simply again go to the generative fill. Now you can also retouch these lines out, but why would you when you can use generative fill? Okay, so here we go. We just select those and look at that perfect image. It's absolutely lovely now. Now the original image was fantastic, but I really want to make something different here. Now you see that white line there as well. I want to just make sure we take that out. I don't know how that occurred, but you can see where it is now. So let's just repeat the same thing again with the marquee tool, generative fill. No prompt in there needed at all. All of that looks really good now. I'm happy with that. So let's just circle now the photographer because we don't really need him on this particular instance. And in the generic fill, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take pretty much just put in there. I'm just going to put in remove to take him out. The reason for that obviously is because in this oil painting, we don't want to have such an image. Okay, and you can see now I've got the three different selections. I can toggle between them. And I think I'm going to choose that one there. That looks really good, the 3 of 3. So you can see what it looks like with him and without him. The next thing is we want to take out the front of the picture where we've got some stones in here. So the stones kind of look a bit odd. So I'm going to draw a marquee around that now. Okay, so just got to make sure you get it all and do it properly. I could have used a square marquee, but sometimes I like to do this freehand. So now I'm going to put remove rocks in here, and then let's just generate. And you can see again, I've got 3 images. I just toggle between those as well. They're all pretty good. They all look pretty good, but I'm going to go for one because it's a lovely flat surface. Looks really good indeed. Okay, so let's take the lasso again now. And I'm feeling that the painting is a little lopsided. I don't like the hill on the right. I'm probably going to widen that as well. So let's just remove that rock and see what we come out with. I want to get a really flat sort of horizon as well now. So you can see here we've got image 1 now, which looks pretty nice. Just go on to image 2. I really like that. That's quite good with the very thin and not much going on there. But this is quite nice as well. It's the same sort of feel from before with the hill, but it's a bit thinner. So what we'll do now is we'll select the horizon line again now, and I'm going to go into my mode and adjustments, and I'm going to go to selective color. I just want to change the tones of the sort of the lake a little bit, or the sea, or whatever it might be here. So let's just play with those tones a little bit on neutral, and we'll get a bit more purple into that as well. Get it feeling a little bit nicer. Maybe take even the cyan down a little bit more. Let's try it up as well. Okay, so we've got like a blue tone there. Put some more magenta in. Just kind of playing with the colors at the moment to see where I can come up with here. Let's have a slide with that one, and let's go for that. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so we'll say okay to that one. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to take the whole thing and just, you can see the white edges around the side. I'm just going to scale the whole thing up a little bit now because I don't want any white edges on the edge of that. And we can drag it now a little bit left and right. Let's have a look at that now. I'm just going to stretch that now because you see, look, it doesn't affect anything because it's landscape. You can always stretch that. And I can take out the bits I don't want to make it fit all the way across now. So I really think that will make it much nicer. Okay, so stretching that. So let's save that up now. Okay, pop that in and saved, and that's great. So look, we've got a really nice image now. So I really like this, and I could actually use this. I'm going to just take out this irritating lump in the middle here. I just sort of, when I look at it, I just sort of see that straight away. So I'm just going to remove that as well. So let's just generate again. But you can see how amazing this generative fill is. And look, you can just choose which one you want, 1, 2, or 3. I think any of them would be okay, but I'm going to go for, let's have a look, number 3. I think I'll leave it on 3. Okay, good. So we're good there as well. So I'm going to merge those layers as well now together. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm really happy with this picture now. It's looking really good. I love the colors. I love the horizon. I like it. It looks pretty good. But now what we've got to do is make it into an oil painting. So next steps. First of all, let's go underneath shadow and highlights, and we're going to put on the shadows amount 25. So it's lighten it up a bit. On the highlights amount, we're going to put 5. So let's say OK to that. And now we're going to select under filter and stylize the oil paint tool, which is where we can fill out the main parts. So the stylization is 7 and the cleanliness is going to be 5. The scale is 7 and the bristle detail will be 5 too. Make sure you've got your lighting switched on, and your shine is going to be at 0.3 today. So that's fine. You can move around this as well. Okay, let's go into that one. So that's perfect. So look at the detail there, looks pretty good. Okay, so now the next stage. Again, under the filter menu, we're going to go to sharpen and to smart sharpen. And here on smart sharpen, we need to set up the amount to 100. The radius will be 10, and the reduce noise will also be 100 too. And underneath the remove here, we're going to put lens blur, so we'll leave that the same, and we can press OK. Okay, nice. So it's starting to really look good as well, isn't it? So we can just have a quick zoom in here. You can see the brush strokes, the way the painting looks. It's starting to really look like a painting for sure now. Okay, so let's go up to the filter gallery now underneath filter. And we're going to go to the brush strokes and accented edges. And we're going to set this up now on the edge width 1, the brightness on 28, and the smoothness on 1 also. So look, we're getting a really nice edges to the painting now. This is kind of giving us this nice feel. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Here, looking again, you can see those details coming and getting a bit better. All right then, so what we're going to do here now is we're going to duplicate that layer now. Let's just duplicate the layer. We're going to call that, let's just call that overlay for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that, but I'm going to keep the overlay there for a second. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure we're on the generative layer 8, our main area. Okay, and we're going to go up to filter gallery again. And what I want to do this time is we're going to go to the texturizer filter, and we're going to pick sandstone, scaling at 50% and radial 3. And this will give us some sort of paper type feel to the background. So you see the paper effect that's come into that as well. So it makes it feel even more like a painting. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to merge these two layers together. I don't need the overlay, so I'm just going to put those together now. Let's merge those layers, and we've got one, and we're just going to call it oil canvas. Okay, that's good. And then let's duplicate that layer again now, and we're going to call that tone this layer now. Okay, so we've got a duplicate now, and I'm going to go first of all to the Gaussian blur on tone on the top layer, and I'm going to give it a 10 radius. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set up an adjustment layer. So we're going to make a new adjustment layer, and we're going to invert this image now. So it'll look a bit strange. That's the inversion now. And what we'll also do is we'll set up another one now underneath the same layers, new adjustment layer, and black and white. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get all these three together, and let's make a group now. So we'll just go to the option to make a group. Okay, so it's just off the sidebar here, and we're going to select group. And there we go. We've got a group now. And what we'll do is we'll change that name of the group to tone and opacity. Okay. And then what we'll do with that is we'll just double click that, and we get the blending options. And the blending options, we're going to click on the blending mode. We're going to go to overlay. Okay. So what we do now with the tone and opacity is we're just going to put that down now to 30%. So here we go. Just slide that down there. And you can see that the image is fading a little bit lighter, and it looks really quite nice, doesn't it? Just zoom in and have a look at that. That looks great. Okay, so as a whole, it looks pretty good. So we'll just save that up now, and we'll put that in as Garrett Pat's oil and save that PSD file. And now what we'll do is we'll open the original from Garrett here, have a look at it, and you'll agree with me, it's a fantastic photograph. I really, really like this picture. So we're just going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it in the middle so you can see how we've made the generic fill much, much broader now, and much more so from Garrett's original picture. We've been able to extend that now. And of course, we've adjusted the colors because we've done the oil painting effect on there as well. And all in all, I think we should be pretty happy. And thank you very much to Garrett Pat's. You can find his details at the end of the video in the YouTube description. Feel free to get in touch with him for any photography needs. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching the video. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel for more AI-related content and tips, and join me on the journey to unlock the potential of AI. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. All the very best. I'm Chris from the Voice of AI. Cheers and bye-bye now.